Three, two, one. What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Dan Stephen here. Another reaction. In this reaction, we're doing some more Lowkey.
We've done the first one. Is this part 2 or something?
Fire in the Booth part 2.
Okay, so did we do the first one, did we?
No, we just skipped the first one.
Did we?
No, we didn't.
Did the first one?
First one was good.
A while ago?
It was ages ago. And I've been wanting to do this one for ages, but it's like 14 minutes long.
Okay.
So it's long.
Okay.
So we haven't been...
we didn't know who full 14 minutes?
Nah, first 2 minutes. Skip through it.
Yeah, we'll just say it was really good. So that was our reaction to
because a few months ago, there's the Israeli lobby have been trying to get him banned from Spotify. Have you heard anything about this?
No.
So Lowkey is obviously a bit of an activist. He's very outspoken about he's very pro-Palestine. He's outspoken against the war against Israel and other things as well. So much other things, but that's one of the big ones he talks about a lot. And basically, the Israeli lobby was trying to get him banned from Spotify.
Okay.
And this is a big, massive deal and all too. And they're like talk about removing him from Spotify and all. But basically, he put this petition out, and like thousands upon thousands people signed it. Basically, like,
did you sign it?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I'm trying to get him removed.
I know. Pro-Palestine dick. So I just thought it'd be cool because I kind of want to do this anyway, and I thought that kind of fitted the time.
Okay.
Because that's kind of like cancel culture. That's your thing.
It's not my thing.
But do you think Spotify should do that? Like if they, it's a strange situation because like a lot of people say you can't remove people from YouTube or from whatever. But obviously these are just private businesses.
Yeah.
Trying to make money. So do you think they have a right to do that, or do you think it's different?
I mean, I don't know. But I think obviously they have the right to do it, but whether or not I think they should do it, probably two different things. Do you know what I mean? I think if you own the business, you should probably be able to make the decisions as to what goes on your platform. Like you can decide that, but whether or not that's right or wrong, or what should or shouldn't be on it, I don't know.
Because a lot of people do talk about Twitter, and that Twitter side, I'm not really on Twitter that much. Are you on Twitter?
No, but I do go. I don't use I don't tweet.
But
I go on people's Twitters, just the people, like certain people that I want to just see what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's good for football, I think, as well. But so Twitter, they're really bad. They delete a lot of accounts, don't they?
I have no idea.
A lot of people say Twitter. That's why Elon Musk was trying to ban and all too. There's
a lot of fake accounts on Twitter.
Oh, bots.
There's a lot of bots on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I really like, because there's a lot of people like Piers Morgan, for example, has like millions and millions of followers. And I'm like, how many of them have you bought? You know what I mean? Like how many? Like I don't know.
Can you buy?
You can, like, I don't know. I'm not saying he did or whatever, but like people can, because if then you look as if you've got a bigger audience than you actually
inflates
have.
your actual growth.
Inflates like how popular you actually are. And I'm going, does he really have 20 million followers? You know what I mean?
I remember reading that before. Like Justin Bieber had like at one point like 20 million, but like they say like half of them are actually all fake.
Yeah, a lot of them are they're just bots.
But I think what I'm trying to get to as well, like, is I don't think Twitter or Facebook or YouTube or Spotify actually have a dog in this fight. They just want to, like, whatever affects their money. Almost. Do you think,
of course.
Who's the guy who owns Spotify again? The bald fella?
Daniel Ek.
Do you think he's sitting there thinking about the whole like Palestine Israel thing? And
no, he's probably
Lowkey?
Just trying to make as much money as possible, and that's probably the way he should run the business.
Exactly. That's I mean, like, it's mad because a lot of people do say, like, I don't know who owns Twitter, but like, oh, he's very like woke and lefty and all that. He doesn't give a shit. I don't know what it comes down to is what affects their money. And if, say, Lowkey affected Spotify's money, they would delete him. But I think he's so I don't think Lowkey's really talented and he's quite big in terms of the grime scene, but he's not that big in terms of like, he's not fucking Lady Gaga or anything. You know, he's not Eminem. He's not going to really affect Spotify's money in the grand scheme of things, you know. But anyway,
there we go.
Fire in the booth.
Here we go.
Give it a go. There it goes.
My next show.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Oh yeah, perfect.
You know what time it is when you hear this, right?
Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, fire in the booth. Much anticipated part 2. Hold tight, suspense. Listen, if they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep. If they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep.
Tiger,
listen.
Uppercut.
It's the zeitgeist, Zapatista, Zorro at his zenith, Zed is zinc in the zebra, zigzagging zealots, zilch to zombies and Zionists, he's zen in his zodiac, fire in the booth, it's a rostry in the zonies that yapping like Yokozuna in Yemen, YouTube and yoga, Yokozuna in Yoville, yodeling in your rover, yelling you're the yardstick of yesteryear, like your boa, they're yearning, I'm yawning, this is like a Yeti versus Yoda, I'm an X-ray, you're Xerox, I'm Xavier to the X-Men, Eximus, like your Xanax to an extent, a wonderful world is waiting, while weapons wage war, we're weeping, who's winning, we wish them well, while wicked wizard webs are weaving, they rip us till we're wheezing, words of wisdom won't weaken, witness these whatless witless wallies waffling with their weekend, their wording is Wikipedia, virtually void of vitals versus visceral vintage, but vivid videos, going viral, I'm your uncle that understands, now it's us with the upper hand, we were underlings, underrated, unhuman to Uncle Sam. There are those thinking tactics to take the throne, though the truth tends to be told through their thesaurus takes its toll. Slithering snakes stipulate systems to sell your soul, secretly seek social stratification set in stone. Regiments ravage the region, now it's right for reparations, rendered refugees can't retract or repair ramifications. Quest across the quarrels on quintessentially qualified quitters quake, quality of my quotes can't be quite quantified, people pass prematurely, pay the price for passivity, pretext of pillage, plunder, prepared to prolong proximity, people's pathology pulverized by this possibility, people power is potent, it's the peak of positivity, oligarchs ostracize others, offer obituaries, overall I overstand the odyssey, optimistically norms of a nascent nation should never negate, nature nasty as nefarious, neocon naysayers for neighbours, this masterful maverick mic man will make you meet your maker, meanwhile merciless mercenaries maneuver to meet the majors, lyrically lack luster, literally lack love, lust, living lavish in luxury, listeners lap up a kaleidoscope of kindness, knowledge, knuckles and kerosene to kill the kleptocracy, cool the kettle that they kept us in. Jabbing javelins at jingoism, jealousy justified when jeering at jobless is journalism, information industry, interlinked with infantry, instrumentalize identity, implant ignorance instantly, hackers and handcuffs, harvesters of hatred, hand gliding, harbingers of harassment, harbor harmful handwriting, gangsters of globalization, glorify glitz and the glam, give us guidance to the graveyard, they got the gift of the gab, it's flawless, how they fabricate the folklore of defeat and funnel funds for freelance fighters and fawn over fights for freedom. Economics, everything, exploitation and epidemic, exhausting environments, easy but the dividends are deadly, don't dare dream of doing different, dread our destruction's definitely coming, as the catalyst, clamour for the capital, can't counteract the cycle, the catastrophe could cancel all, bring borders to bear, bombarded with the broken, basically bribery beckons business, we are beholden, though accurate answers to all of the above aren't available, I attack the alphabet again and aced it just to aim at you, they say anything is attainable, attack the alphabet again and aced the...
Perfect.
Man like Lowkey in the building! Hey, you're a savage, bro! Hey, first time you come in, you killed the alphabet. Assassinated it. And just to take the mickey, you come in and kill it backwards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Much love, bro.
Man like Lowkey in the building!
Thanks for having me, man.
Pleasure, my G!
Yeah, man.
You ain't done yet, though, are you?
I ain't done at all, let's do it.
He knows them sound effects on this.
Yeah. If they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep. If they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep.
Turn up!
How can I do a fire in the booth when I'm trying just to maintain? And since you don't hear the word fire in the same way, heard screams, splutters and them gasping for air, that's not bars in a booth, it's so hard to compare. If I use fire as a metaphor, does that disrespect the people that are never more? How does that bomb sound to those that bled in war that we never saw? Remember when they settled scores with metal swords at Skeletor? Chinese made gunpowder, Nobel invented dynamite. They say the guilt in his mind compelled him to design the prize. We know what Einstein's mind was like, how many geniuses we never knew that were deprived of life. I can't philosophize on horrifying flames, we don't have to apologize or qualify our pain. Degremphilize our loved ones of the colonizer's name. Should we let the corporate media lobotomize our brains? You are beautiful, no matter how this life disfigures you, you're beautiful, even if that image you emulate isn't you. I don't know if history is linear or cyclical, but no, I'm ridiculed for making invisibles visible. That's why Plato said banish poets from the Republic, cause they know that we can shake the social system and disrupt it. The land of liberty, they tell us leave it or lump it. When Trump comes to the country, we hope he chokes on his crumpet before we sink in the ocean. Consider this as an omen. Nature's blessings aren't ours just cause we think that we own them. Never think that you're broken or think that you're no one. Remember, a rope is strong because of strings interwoven. Would they love you more if you mock the people that you're from? Self-orientalize and believe that you belong. Overcompensate and propagate the image of the imbecile, not uninvolved. Even though you're further from the killing field, take solace in the fact there's always cracks in the monolith. Now we're practically lobbing bricks like Asterix and Obelisk. Distracted with gossip is twisted news and interlude to adverts. No hidden clues to listen to is pitiful.
Perfect.
Rosa Luxemburg gave us the simple truth. You won't feel your chains till the day you begin to move. He photographed the corpse and they flung him in the cage. Those that signed off on the cladding are still receiving their wage. Helicopters hover close, pictures for the front page. Tried to speak, all I really felt deep was numb rage. How could they see this pain at such a young age? Leaning out the window screaming for help, but none came. If it bleeds, it leads. The trauma tourists, they gravitate. Shock doctrine in effect, disaster capitalists salivate. Privatization, deregulation and austerity. 0-hour contracts, exploitation and precarity. Adults didn't make it, the children to be fostered. Save pennies on the block, drop 20 million on the opera. We see through your cold plans, your program is done. We don't want a prime minister that holds hands with Trump. We don't want DJs doing shows on military compounds. Can't trivialize fire or hear any more bomb sounds. How can I smile when I know the remains are still not found? And echoing in my mind is exactly how the sobs sound. They say we're criminals for syllables and stanzas when they subsidize the killers' tools, the pillagers and bankers who were the engines of history. People like me and you who got massacred for the right to vote at Peterloo. It was Imagineers and the artists that told puddle martyrs, William Cuffey and the Chartists. Rebel and resist, even through something small. Create windows with words and mirrors where once were walls. Manure contributes to the beauty of a rose. Why can't we accept our pain as something that helps us grow? They wonder why songs that make you cry are more moving, cause crying's the only thing that we were born doing. They tell us tea is tradition to the English. When I look around this island, not a tea plantation in it. Earl Grey gave 20 million to the slave traders. Multipolar world, now the Indians are space raiders. Freedom to be even or merely alienate labor. Freedom for fossil fuelers to desecrate and invade nature. Albert was an immigrant, Prince Philip is an immigrant. Where the Celts, Normans and the Anglo-Saxons English then. The word sugar, cotton and rice come from Arabic. Now we import democracy to civilize the Saracens. Analyzing planets when this backwater was wilderness. Seems we're still obsessed with immortality like Gilgamesh. Pessimism of intellect, optimism of will. Where the skin of their victims is syndrome Buffalo Bill. In times of permanent war, there's always someone to kill. But when life and death are virtual, almost nothing is real. They got my snapshots in a padlock box, but settle with the heavy metal. This is rap, not rock. It's fire in the booth, but man's not hot. I just got genius bars like a laptop shop. They wanna know if I got a flow or I'm gonna blow. Back like Geronimo Pratt, let's rock and roll. I never sold my soul for a pot of gold. Now feel this scholar's solid knowledge in your collarbone. Subject to propaganda that terrifies the slumbered, but the albums still sell. You can verify the numbers. Collectivize or die. Protect your mind or suffer. Life is paradise to some and a paradise to others. While these twittery teens are sinking in screens and thinking in memes. They blink in this machine is pimping their dreams. I think it's obscene, as sick as it seems. They don't know what lyrical invincibility means. Barge through for part 2, I can't lose. Labels astroturfing, trying to make it look grassroots. Gone are the days we sold our CDs from the car boot. Sharpshooters shooting harpoons through your chart tunes. Saw pain in the eyes of a retired fireman, knowing he couldn't save a child, survived the frying pan. When we riot, we disquiet the Leviathan. Forget Iron Man, I got an Iron Lion's diaphragm. My salutation to those with imagination. Most anticipated, and that's no exaggeration. The flag doesn't exist. Let me back up that statement. What happens to the nation if the Queen has a tax haven? What's commonsensical is sensible to question. What seems to be a lesson is intellectual repression. Say the ting goes as expression of aggression. Remember there's 2 victims on either side of the weapon. We won't let them sleep. If they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep. If they don't let us dream, then we won't let them sleep. Listen, check it. Power to those that rebel, hooks power to those that sell books, power to those that know how the inside of a cell looks. All those feeling helpless, forgotten or discarded. Power to the strange fruit they thought was rotten in the garden. Power to those sitting alone, seeking knowledge in the power to those feeling stained or your tomorrow isn't tarnished. Power to those that sweep the streets with more knowledge than PhDs. Power to those that keep their keys, return as promised, please believe. Power to those that suffer in silence, those it hurts to hear. Power to those that hold their ground, power to those that persevere. Power to those that love humanity more than they love style. style. Power to immigrants, probably raising Donald Trump's child. Power to the who can't imagine what sight is. Those staring at the moon and all those working night shifts. Power to the readers, the writers, the illiterate. Power to those that struggle to decolonize their syllabus. Power to the shy ones who always struggle to make friends on a half of humanity worth less than 8 men. Power to those that risk their life to dig the colton from the ground. For the mic I'm spitting on and the phone you're holding now. Power to those that built the stadium they're playing in. Power to those that mowed the grass and stitched the ball that they're playing with. Every rapper that doesn't rap about killing. Power to the builders who build buildings that outlived them. Power to the slaves of ancient Greece, never had the right to vote. Democracy dead like Gary Webb when they imported like his coke. Power to those that write to prison. Power to those writing home. Power to those writing poems. Power to those that died alone. Power to Curtis Mayfield. Power to Ronald Isley. Power to the fishermen that were forced into piracy. Power for every person that is working in a library. Power to every nurse that we turn to in our times of need. Power to the unions and the miners that should punish. Power to those that drive the buses and those that collect the rubbish. Power to the youth desiring the truth. Power for every rapper that is dying for a fire in the booth. For those that lost limbs to King Leopold's quota and those risking their lives for the P&O to Dover. Power to union leaders murdered by power to victims of this globalized Cosa Nostra. Power to those dying on the shores and the borders. Power to human beings that were rendered fauna and flora. Power to those that after the stage show and carnival goers still haunted by Kelso Cole Crane's ghost. Power to Kevin Carter, his picture taunts us ever after. So many questions never answered. Remember the last words of عبد المحسن السعدون. الأمة تنتظر الخدمة الإنجليز لا يوافقون. Power to El Jawahiri and his rebellions. They killed his brother Ja'far and he cursed the rotten Thamesians. Enlightened despots pursuing tactics Machiavellian. Chinese still preceded Europe a millennium. Think about it. Printed press half a millennium. Never get close. Power to Ken Loach and every volunteer in Lesbos. Cuban doctors sent to Sri Lanka for the tsunami. Power to those that cleaned up after the Bullingdon parties. Kids knowing Apple products before they know what an apple is. Forgotten like passengers on the USS Indianapolis. Dying days before they could see what little boys damaged it on the precipice of fascism. My passiveness is cancerous. Power to those strong enough to dream. Power to those that chose not to be a cog in the machine. Power to those that love first and hate never. Power to those that sleep on the streets through grey weather. Power to Aziz Ali and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Power to Norman Baker, David Kelly's owner artery. Power to the genocided population of Tasmania. The internet descends to Trump-tastic fantasia. Let them try quote this. You'll never find a better diagnosis than collective psychosis. It's getting quite hopeless, but hope is all we have. Trying to cultivate the positive, not focus on the bad, but the globe's under attack. The obnoxious rage of a fake intellectual. Amazing grace in the age of the spectacle. Not the first time they found a race is selectable to raise to the pedestal and desecrate the place that translated the decimal. I don't want to tempt fate. Power to corpse washers like AN Day. Power to language learners, Bernie Sanders fans to flag burners. One man's inertia is another man's purpose. In the utopia of song, we are victorious, but the bittersweet reality's not this glorious. Power to Coltrane watching Malcolm X. Power to Paul Robeson under house arrest. Power to Galileo under house arrest. Power to Ibn Haytham under house arrest. Forgive me if I sound obsessed. Forgive me if I sound depressed. Believe me, that's not how it's meant. They probably thought I couldn't come back and kill the alphabet. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Say el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. Say el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Say el pueblo unido jamás será vencido. الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. Thank you very much.
Wow! Man, like, look!
Your man's tough. I'm at the end, isn't he? Sometimes whenever we... Oh, that's a shit reaction from us. We didn't even talk.
I don't know what.
Right, but that's the thing, right? Sometimes when you're listening to stuff like that, like, I forget that I'm recording a video.
Yeah.
Like, I am just listening to it, and I'm like... It occurred to me like 7 minutes in, I haven't said anything here. I'm just going
I just want to enjoy though. There's several times where I thought, oh, pause it here. And I was like, oh. But it's like it's just disrupting the whole flow of them. Like,
when did this come out? When was this? It has to be recent.
Why?
Well, obviously Grenfell had already happened and stuff. Obviously that was a long time
10
ago.
years ago.
Was it 10 years ago now?
Pretty close to it, like, yeah.
I'm trying to think who was the Prime Minister?
Probably
David Cameron. Or would it be Theresa May?
Theresa May, because that's when he mentioned Donald Trump being president.
She was. So it wasn't Boris.
No, don't think so.
I think if it was Boris, he would have mentioned Boris.
Yeah. He didn't really mention her.
Yeah.
But I was just like, that just got. So when we first did the part 1,
Yeah.
I think what I said after was like that surprised me. I thought because I know Lowkey to be this real.
But he didn't really go into politics.
He didn't go into politics. More like flexing. It was class. You can still say how talented he actually is. But then this one was just like full whack.
Yeah. Well, the first bit of it
Was just kind of a bit of a flow.
but it was really the first bit of it from a rapping standpoint was more impressive than the rest.
Yeah.
But obviously the message.
It
and
just
the rest,
got more and more and more and more and more to the point where I was like, how long is this going on for? I know
Yeah,
14
yeah.
minutes, but I just felt like it was so much. Like, I didn't, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even, there's so much shit you could cover, like point by point. You know what I mean?
the Grenfell one's a big thing for me. Like,
Darn it.
I know there's no point in us really getting into it, but it's something that like you think of every now and again. You go like, what happened there?
What nothing happened to
know.
it? They didn't get anything.
I know. What happened there?
And even like even the amount of people who actually died, the figures they gave out is actually wrong in it. It's actually I think triple in it.
I have no idea. I've literally
Because
no idea.
a lot of like, what is it? I don't know, like the rooms say that they fitted 2 people, but actually there was about 5, 6 people
Yeah.
living there because obviously
Probably.
it was all
Just
working class
who
people
were
and all,
down their luck
and
and
immigrants and stuff living there.
Yeah.
So like a lot more people died than they say. I think they say about 200. So I don't know. I'm probably wrong here.
Yeah.
It was actually Lily Allen was like doing a protest.
Yeah,
and she was
remember that.
talking. She's like 1,000 people probably, potentially. I don't know if I'm probably wrong the figures,
yeah,
but it was like
more people than what was reported.
and it was so much that I was like, what the fuck?
But do you know the thing as well? Like, see, obviously the cladding that caused the fire, that's on so many other buildings that they have not updated yet. Like, there's loads of buildings that still have the same fire risk. And the problem as well is there's a lot of people who maybe own a flat there and they can't get out of it. They can't sell the flat.
Yeah.
You can't sell it because the cladding, no one will buy it. And they're like,
What's the government doing
it's
there?
like, what happened there?
Who built it and what the government do
Yeah.
to rectify that there?
I know.
Like I love listening to shit that sounds like this here. This here just kind of really motivates you and stuff, but it makes you really angry when you start thinking about all these things that are going wrong in society, and like you start talking about Apple and all too, and talking about immigrants. Like it was so much to the point where it's like, fucking life's crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that. You can go to a dark place.
It does, and that's what I love about these songs and like these artists. Even like
Make you think.
Dave did it as well. Obviously, he's pretty good for it and all. And was it Akala? He's really like. He's kind of like that as well. I listen to him, I'm really inspired, but I'm also like really angry about everything about society.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost like, I don't know, is it a good thing though? In that too, like,
Well, it's better to be aware. It's a hard
Yeah.
thing. Like, there's a lot, and we're all guilty of it too. You believe a lot of stuff that you're told and you see. And this is a really stupid example, right? But I was watching this YouTube video earlier, and it was you ever get the YouTube Shorts looking through, and someone was like interviewing people in a park, and they were saying to them, like, "Oh, here, do you eat gluten?" And they're like, "No, I wouldn't eat gluten. No, I'm gluten free. I wouldn't eat gluten." It was like 4 or 5 people. So you eat gluten? So, I don't eat gluten. Don't eat gluten because everything's gluten free now. Everywhere you go. And then the person asked the same before we go, "What is gluten?"
Yeah.
And they didn't know.
Why
And
did
I was
say
like,
it?
and then the whole point of the videos was, obviously there's a lot of people who can't eat gluten
Yeah,
or whatever, but
yeah,
there's
so
a lot
the
of people that are banning to like marketing of
Yeah.
gluten free products, and they're like, "Oh, don't eat gluten. That's bad for you." And they're like,
The gluten-free products are worse,
it was
probably.
like you don't. Like, but is that how easy like we're manipulated to be like marketing and blah, blah, like what you see in a supermarket? You actually don't even know what it is that you think you can't eat.
Ah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
It's like,
so true.
That's
So
crazy.
true. So
Like, do you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, how easy was that? It's like, I don't eat gluten. What is gluten? I think it's like someone's like, I think it's like pasta. Like I was like, no. It was like, so you based your whole lifestyle and diet around something that you do not know what it is.
I know.
It's like, you should probably read what that is first.
It's gluten-free because people are allergic to it.
Yeah.
That's why you don't. If you can
Yeah.
eat it, then it's
Just eat it.
fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it because like it's became like a dietary thing, gluten free. Like everything's gluten free.
Yeah.
If you go to like certain shop, and it's marketing.
It's mad because I have like, and to be in my family, I have people who are veggie and not vegan, but they try to be vegan. And they're like, obviously, meat's bad. But on the other side, I have people who like say veganism bad. So I'm always in I watch both of them, and they're almost the exact same as each other. The way they talk about the other side. I was like, I get that both sides can be healthy.
Yeah,
but it's all about like moderation and shit. Like, I mean,
but it's So obviously all this stuff that was on
Yeah,
this
what-
video
what
was really dark, and we're talking about gluten. But I'm just so I'm probably tuned in watching the Shrek video, going,
Why is gluten?
He didn't mention gluten once in that video, did he not? I heard him say it.
I thought it was like a metaphor for gluten. What we're trying to say, like,
Just trying to put a lighter touch on it. Ross.
yeah, you know what I mean. But see, even it comes like recently, like the whole like Jubilee shit happening, is it? The Platinum Jubilee happening there, like all that money, like
Yeah. That was, do you know what it reminded me of?
Like, I just
That
don't...
reminded me of Game of Thrones, right? Do you ever see in Game of Thrones wherever, like, it's like, I think it's Joffrey who wants to have a party, or was it for like a big wedding? I think it must be his wedding or something, or someone's wedding. It's like, oh, we'll throw a big party. And they have a discussion in Game of Thrones where they're like, I don't really think we should be doing, like, people, we're taxing people loads, like, people really down and look at them, and should we, as the crown, throw a massive party? And they're like, well, raise the taxes and throw the party. And then part of me was looking at Jubilee going, what are we... Is this just Game of Thrones?
National insurance just went up
it's
for
just like,
it.
yeah.
And it's like, alright.
Everything's going up.
Yeah.
Every single thing in the world is going up.
But like,
and
national insurance is something that's directly related to
Yeah.
actually like what goes towards the government. And you're like, let's have a big massive party. And people fall for it. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's a discussion for the podcast.
maybe I'll tune into that.
Gluten and
Love
fucking,
gluten.
and the fucking Platinum Jubilee. That was our reaction to Lowkey Fire in the Booth Part 2. And our reactions you want us to do, let us know in the comments below. Cheers.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching the video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Just to let you know, we've got similar content available on the channel if you want to check it out.
We also do our own podcast called MCPodcasting, where we cover a range of topics from politics, sports, and even movies.
We basically just talk a lot of shit.
We argue a lot as well on it there, but all the links are below. We're on all major platforms, Spotify, iTunes, and is there any other?
That's the main ones, yeah.
Yeah, it's the main ones.
Just check out the podcast, and if there's any sort of videos you want us to react to, drop us a comment on the YouTube videos, and we'll be sure to check it out.
Oh, if you want to make fun of us, then go ahead. We don't care.
Be nice.
Be nice.
In fairness, we don't really get that many comments.
No, don't.
Yeah.
Stop looking at me.
Okay.